Hi everyone, welcome to this week's The Recovery. This week I'm joined by Davinia Taylor. Hiya.
Hi there, how are you?
Excited about today, because since we started The Recovery, so many people messaged me saying, you should get Davinia Taylor, you should get Davinia. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to get Davinia. But, it's just like, so kind of, you've got this, all these, recovery bods and, health people that kind of follow you and think that you're some kind of guru now, but which isn't always been the way, right?
No, I mean, I think people are interested in what I've got to say because I've spent a fucking fortune on getting healthy and they don't want to make the same shitty, time-wasting financial mistakes that I did. I mean, I have lost millions being a piss can. Millions.
Sure,
and I don't want other people to have to go through that because, A, we're all in an economic downturn. So it just, it's not good for anyone.
I kind of think that's why we started this series, The Recovery, because there's so many mistakes that we all make that not everybody else needs to. And if you identify it earlier on, the mistakes that they're making, and they get that identification from something that we've said or guests on this program have said, the light bulb might go on a little bit early.
And that word "yet" is probably one of the most important words in recovery anyway, isn't it? Because it is, it's just a matter of time before the shit hits the fan.
Always, people always judge, oh, I'm not as bad as that yet.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll check back in with you in about 24 months. We'll see how cocky you are then, Pauline.
I'm not an alcoholic yet. I'm not a drug addict yet. I'm not on the park bench yet.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, right, because when I first met you, I came to your flat in Vauxhall.
Right, I think that was a 3-day bender that we all connected on. I don't know, there was a load of us there, just the usual suspects that we all see now in the rooms. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, the great thing about those memories is that was a laugh. It hadn't got. I mean, it was pretty dark. It was pretty dark because I know something happened to my fish.
Your fish?
Yeah.
Your fish bowl, weren't they?
Yeah. Someone puked in the fish bowl.
I don't know who that was.
But I mean, like I said, it's better than puking in the wine bucket.
Exactly, or on the floor, exactly.
On the floor, you know what I mean? It was a rented flat. I'd have been charged for all the carpet, so.
It's about that time, I was still having fun then. And it wasn't dark. And, in my mind, I still thought I was having fun, even though it was on a 3-day bender. And I ended up at yours and then went from yours to somewhere else for 3 days. In my mind, I still thought I was having fun. And I think really the realistic part of it, it's got really dark by that point. What was life like for you before I met you at that point? What was it like growing up? When was it the first?
Okay, I'm from a great family. My dad, brilliant businessman. My mom was beautiful, also a brilliant businessman. She was a hairdresser. He went into manufacturing. They were a force to be reckoned with. They were neighbours in a council estate in Liverpool, self-made millionaires, worked till the bones and the fingers were exposed. She was constant on her feet cutting hair and just never stopped. So it was great because they were really determined, bright, intelligent people. I was surrounded by that. Mum got cancer when I was 4, so she couldn't have any more kids, which I think broke her heart. She wanted a big family. She was from a big family as well. And so I didn't have any siblings. So boom, straight away, I had this boredom. Because when I was a kid, they wanted to get out of Liverpool. So they moved to this farmhouse in the middle of a field. And there's me on my own. Obviously, I couldn't drive because I'm 5. And that went on until I was 15. So I had this, there's no iPads, there's no TV, there's 3 TV channels. There was literally no neighbours. I had my mum who had a little bit of OCD with tidying up. So it was always we're going to tidy the house today. So basically, me being such a social person, I used to spend a lot of time sat in my window, looking out the window, just waiting for anything to happen. So I had an innate fear of boredom and lack of stimulation. And I think when I found my feet took me straight to London. Let's just never be bored ever again, because that sits really uncomfortably with me. I don't know. I mean, I don't mind my own company, don't get me wrong, but it was solitude on another level. And I think that's when I started daydreaming. And I've heard in the rooms a lot of times, that's where a lot of like addictive behaviors start, the escapism, the imagining, the triggers of like how to get some dopamine, you know, thinking about whatever, boys, thinking about an imaginary situation, thinking about going out. This sort of thing, escapism became part of me.
You know, a lot of us would, like, growing up, we would tell people that our parents were racing drivers. We lived in fantasy because even at that early age, we want to change the way we feel. We're never content within who we are. Like, you spent all that time looking out the window, wishing you were somewhere else. As soon as that window's open, you're off, and you go to the next level, and you come to London. And is that when the chaos started, do you think?
I mean, I think I've always sort of like had that need for adrenaline, dopamine. I've always had that because obviously I've got two parents who are really business led, so that's where they got their dopamine fix from. And we're you know, we're Irish background, you know, we celebrated with booze, we commiserated with booze, we even passed a Tuesday with booze, so that was always on the radar. It wasn't like I was from some Puritan family, don't get me wrong, we're feisty people, so that was normal for me. Every Sunday there was club kitchen with my family, and then I'd go out in Wigan, I'd collect some party refugees, bring all them back to the farmhouse, and inevitably my mum and dad would still be up drinking anyway, so party back at mine till stupid o'clock. So it was always accessible to me, and it was pretty normal from the age of 15. But then once I got my twinkle toes in action, I became an actor. That's right. Of course, because going into accountancy is not for me, because I want to chat, I want to socialise, I want to jump around, and the acting industry is full of lunatics. So I was just like in my element, so self-obsessed, insecure nutters with the most amazing stories who will stay up all night and drink with you. And perfect, I found my family, you know. So I got into acting really young. So I skipped university. I didn't bother with that. I literally went into Hollyoaks, which was great, just surrounded by young, good-looking actors, cameramen, extras. I mean, it was carnage, you know. It was fresh as week every day. So it kind of started there, and it was great fun. It was, you know, it was a laugh. And then I was part of a team, and then I moved to London, and every night, Saturday night in London, as you know, and you have even more incredible people like yourself who just, the conversation is you're in bits, you're in hysterics laughing, and I love laughing. I like being happy, funnily enough, you know. So I found my sort of party zone, and for the next 5 years, I had a ball. I mean, I bought Meg's house off her, you know. I bought Supernova Heights, and Liam Gallagher said, "Fucking hell, it's like the church here, and it's always open."
So when did it, you know, you said for 5 years it went on like that. When did you actually have that realization?
Well, the realization came for me. So I got married to David, great guy, hilarious. We had such, I mean, I dragged him kicking and screaming to London, you know. No, I want to stay in Manchester. It's mad down there. I'm like, you'll see. Anyway, so I dragged him down, and then of course he starts getting on with everyone, and the party starts happening. But we wanted to have a kid. And it was like, I think we were married about 6 years. And then I said, sack it, let's go for IVF. So IVF, I didn't realize at the time, because of the amount of hormones they pump into you, it can trigger postnatal depression when all those hormones leave your body. I knew nothing about hormones. They don't tell you anything about that. They don't tell you that you need to breastfeed because of the hormones and stuff. Something really sort of clicked badly into place, and I didn't get any oxytocin, I didn't get any endorphins, I didn't get any of the sort of dopamine, serotonin. I was flatlining, and the only thing I knew that brings me up was Pinot Grigio. Yeah. So, and there's at one point I thought in the morning, because I was so anxious, so scared, and to be honest, the feeling of postnatal depression is very much like a terror come down. That's how you feel all the time, but you're sober. You know, you can't say, okay, I'm just coming down off X, Y, and Z. That's your base normal. And everyone's saying to you, oh, God, and the baby great and everything. And you just associate that with something's going to go wrong. You know, you're just like, I'm going to walk out into the road and get hit by a bus feeling, that sort of anxiety. And the only thing that takes that away was white wine for me. So I think it was about the time when I was in the fridge at like 9 o'clock in the morning, pouring white wine into a mug of tea or a coffee cup. David, knowing damn well I didn't drink tea or coffee, walking around the kitchen, I actually thought, this is more than a scene out of Dallas, and I'm a little bit worse than Sue Ellen. because I used to live in a movie. I don't know about you. My life was a movie. I was convinced I was permanently on set.
We kid ourselves that no one's going to realise that there's white wine in the coffee cup, or that, you know, doing that at 9 o'clock in the morning is kind of relatively normal. We normalise everything when we're in that state. And I kind of just think, you know, I don't know what postnatal depression feels like, but I know what depression feels like. And it kind of, you know, when you're in it, you know that you're in it, but you just feel that you can't get out of it, and there's no way. So what you do is you try to suppress those feelings by taking other substances, which you think are going to change it, but really those substances that you're taking, like white wine, is one of the biggest depressants there is. Do you go?
For sure, but it's a case of survival. It's either that or slit your wrists, because the reality is so scary, so endless, and it's like an eternity of fear, anxiety, low self-esteem, low mood, zero energy. It's like no one's going to give me that, and people telling you to pull yourself together. It's the baby blues. It's nothing. It'll pass. And time, it just extends so long when in a depressive state. It's like there was, and so someone told me to go for a run. I'm like, you stupid. I can't even get out of bed, you prick. You know, and you get doctors telling you stupid things like this. I'm like, you can't run. Oh, you know, and it's just, there's such little understanding about our hormones.
So with the doctor thing, did they put you on antidepressants? Because that's normally the thing. People go to they say, I've got an alcohol. No, you're depressed. Let's give you antidepressants. And yet again, we go straight onto another drug and another form of level of taking and being dependent on something. And you know, that happens a lot within our society, that people misread alcoholism or misread postnatal depression and just put it down as, okay, you need this, this, and this. Now, I know, because you can't sleep well at night, I'll give you some diazepam as well. You know, it kind of, you know.
Okay. And I'll crush them up and probably snort them.
Exactly.
Just for old time's sake.
Ding, ding.
No, I mean, I got diagnosed with bipolar.
Yeah.
Because I tell you why. I mean, how the doctor came to this conclusion, I don't know. Because a bipolar person has episodes of manic, like the high that lasts months. I got diagnosed with bipolar because I was raging every now and again. Like, listen to me, I'm screaming underwater. Oh, she's bipolar. Let's whack her on that. But that happened, that was 11 years ago. And that, I think, myself, the likes of Kerry Katona, tons of women got labelled with bipolar. And it was only, and this was a guy on Harley Street, of course, thousands. Yeah. And I think he practices in the Priory as well. Anyway, so he put me on bipolar medication and antidepressants. And it was only when I moved house that the doctor, I registered with a doctor, and he had a look, like this, he was quite a young doctor. And he had a look at my notes and he went, what the bloody hell's this? He said, this is serious stuff. And I said, well, I know, but this is what I've been told to put on. And he's like, you need to come off this. You are definitely not bipolar. You have been wrongly diagnosed for years. And then you realize how much crap you've been putting in your liver. No wonder I just felt flatline. There's no joy in my life because I'm not producing any serotonin, because of course I've got all these drugs like overpowering my natural endocrine system. And I'm just flatlining through life. The odd row here, the odd row there, but otherwise it's just one of them. And I don't want to live like because I wasn't designed to be and just like take things on the chin. I was so enraged with the fact that I couldn't breastfeed 2 of my kids because I was on this medication. I was so enraged that I wasted so much time, so much energy just feeling lackluster and low because some private doctor who charged me about 10 grand decided he's going to put me in this box and never revisit me, just left me there for 5 years.
It happens
so bad.
So many people, you know, that they get the wrong diagnosis for something so simple, you know, depression, you know, oh, let's put them straight onto antidepressants. I have so many friends that have been on the wrong kind of medication for so long that get suicidal because they crash on it. The medication that they're on no longer works. They've been told they had these symptoms of something that they don't have. So they, in a way, they kind of strive to live within that world. So, you know, someone gets told that they're bipolar and they're not. You have these episodes in your mind that you make up to think, oh, well, that's my bipolar. That's my medication. And then you have to go on to another form of medication because that doesn't work. And it just ups and ups and ups. And people just, they no longer have a life. They're just literally walking around like zombies because of prescription medication, and that kind of just happens so often. So
constantly. It's the first. I mean, I know you've spoke to Meg about like the menopause. She's doing about the menopause, but the perimenopause for women can start as young as 35. And these symptoms can, because of your hormones are shifting, it can produce low mood. It's just a lack of serotonin. And they just get put straight on to antidepressants instead of something that's going to balance the hormones. And straight away, you're talking, you're depressed. No, I'm not. I'm just perimenopausal. Thanks. I'm just like, changing age. Sorry, pal, if it's, not allowed.
A lot of people would just put you down as being mental. Oh, God, don't go near her. She's mad. She's irate. She's mental. You know what I'm saying to you? And that comes with a price as well. Just the fact that people don't hear you. They see what they want to see. They don't hear what they need to hear. You know, and there's crisis. Yeah. But we act, can't we? We had those episodes where we're screaming and shouting. We're screaming and shouting for a reason. We're not screaming and shouting for what we do. You know what I mean? It's kind of cries for help. At what point did you think, okay, this isn't my life?
I got shipped off to, because I'd done rehab facilities, I'd gone into the rooms, I'd done everything. And basically I'd always found a way out. I'd always found my way back to my social group. I'd always manipulated my way back into even just a pub, because it wasn't working for me. I needed longer. I needed a break. And you know what? In a roundabout way, being called bipolar actually helped me, because I thought, right, I've got something up with me. I need to do something. Right. Whereas really what I should have been said, right, basically, you've drank yourself into an addictive state. You've messed up your hormones. You've had far too much dopamine. You've knackered your serotonin. You've got no chance with bonding with the kids because you've lost all your oxytocin. You need to step back, relax, and get yourself back into some sort of hormonic balance. And that's going to take 6 months. So I got shipped off to South Africa. Got banned from BA for my behaviour on the way down. I mean, complete blackout. So, but BA have now reinstated me, so I don't have to EasyJet it anywhere. So that's good. But yeah, so I mean, I was a nightmare on that plane, but I went to South Africa for the simple fact is, A, it's much cheaper, like a quarter of the price. B, I couldn't get home. Yeah. I couldn't hitchhike my way home out of Cape Town.
Sometimes we need to be taken out so that we can look. Yeah. Because if we, a lot of people were, I do treatment, but I want it down the road from where I live because I still want the beach comfort. We have to, for me, and I can only speak from my own personal experience, that I had to be taken away so that I could look back in and see the damage that I had caused, not only to my life, but to everybody else's. And I went away for 6 months to sunny Bournemouth, which was like hell on earth for someone like me,
Oh my God, I can imagine. It's just like Blue Ridge Brigade and everything. And it's everything you love, the creativity, everything's gone. It's gone. And you're just like, I
was like God's waiting room for 6 months. But you know what I did learn there? I learned who I was, and I learned how to I'd never tidied a room in my life. I'd never done any of that stuff. And I just learned all of these new skills of being me. And it kind of, thank God I did that, because that was the foundation for me to move forward. I only went once to rehab, and I swore I'd never go back. And thank God, up to this day, I haven't. But I go back to do talks, and I go back to train them and blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? Yeah. Sometimes we do need to be taken away from that life, because we get so wrapped up within the shit life, and that shit life's our life, so we make it comfortable. Do you know what I mean? And we can...
well, shit, what's that phrase? Shit stinks, but it's warm.
Exactly.
So we kind of stay in it, no matter how destructive it is. You know it. You know the rowing. You know the drama. You know the 4 o'clock phone calls. You know it. It's part of you, and it's in your DNA until you change your DNA. Further into my journey, but probably maybe about 6 years in, I started looking at the science behind addiction and what we've got going on and what's available to us. Because sometimes for some people, going to AA is just too much, They try it I've got a mate who's been 25 years in and out of the rooms. It's torture. So I'm like, listen, let's do a DNA test and let's have a look at what your genes are. Where's your detox pathways? Why are you able to drink so much and get addicted, but your friend in Asia isn't. And it's because the Asians don't have that gene. But you'll find the addict still lives there because they'll be gambling, you know? So the addict is everywhere. It just manifests in a different way. I personally think the whole population's addicted. I was just watching GMB this morning, and it's ridiculous the amount of people who are drinking at the moment. Yeah. And other things with all that woke coke that everyone's got at the moment, you know. Have you heard about that in Chiswick? Everyone's got woke coke because it's like from sustainable sources in South America. Hi, darling, I've got woke coke, organic wine, so it's all okay.
They pay an extra for it. They pay like double the price because it's
yes, yeah. 200 quid a gram. Woke coke. I think you get it in Whole Foods. I don't know.
And you know what? I can just imagine that the whole group that are actually doing it as well. Do you know what I mean? Please.
Yes. Go. Oh, I know. Just like so, they've got the vegan food, they've got their organic wine, and they've got the woke coke and a spliff.
What line?
It's fine. It's fine. I know it's sustainable. We're actually putting back into the country, into the economy.
Really helping the world.
So yeah, I mean, it is funny when you're on the outside looking back in it, the hypocrisy and the bullshit. It's great, isn't it?
So, well, for me, that you know, where you've gone from and that person that you was to who you are today, your recovery and what you do in recovery and what you do with your recovery for other people is amazing. You know, it's all about knowing your body. It's all about your mindset and how you do it. So I'm interested to know how you got to that point.
Right. So like I said, it kind of, for me, I mean, I came through AA like most of us do, but I'm not in the rooms anymore. I know if I needed to be, it's there. If I need to sound off, it's there. And it's that constant sort of big sister down the road, you know?
Of the rooms, you know where they are, you know at any point, at any time, you can go back there and people will open their arms to welcome you.
For sure. What I do now, I mean, like I said, I've got 4 kids. I'm up and down the country. I'm going through a big custody battle at the moment. I've got triggers left, right, and centre. Yeah. And I know much more than most people. I know my DNA. I know my detox pathways. I know my bloods. I know what supplements I need to take. I know what exercise I need to do. I know I need to keep a check on my hormones because they can trigger me left, right, and center. And I need to know things like sleep, like this Aura ring here. I monitor virtually everything I do to a point of obsessive, you know, so don't get me wrong, I'm aware. But I mean, I know things like if I don't have enough REM sleep and the percentage of REM sleep and deep sleep needs to be in a certain alignment, I know to be aware the next day that I need to go and maybe do a cold shower. REM sleep. Okay, REM sleep is like your rapid eye movement. So that's when you're in a dream state. That is when you are healing. But importantly, that is when you go into a state of ketosis. So that's when you start hitting fat burning mode. And when you're in a fat burning mode, you'll start metabolizing. And that is another point when you'll start creating serotonin in your gut. Yeah. So I know my genetic pathways, and I am missing a gene where I make serotonin. So I take a supplement called 5-HTP, which is a precursor, i.e. it helps you manufacture serotonin. So I will wake up the next day better because I've given my body the right tools to make me like a normal, lovely lady.
So it's funny how
it's knowing little tricks like that help.
So it's funny how you mentioned the ketosis, because at the moment I'm doing a keto diet and I take ketones.
How are you? Okay.
I take ketones in the morning, which put my body straight into ketosis, so that I'm constantly burning fat, carbs. And I've had a carb-free diet completely for 6 weeks. I've lost over 1 stone in weight. Yeah. I've kind of lost nearly over 10 kilos so far. So for me, it's amazing. But my mindset is totally different. My mindset is so much clearer. Since I've been doing ketones, it's obviously replacing something that I was lacking because I'm no longer sluggish. Yeah. I'm up doing I've just come from the gym before this, which, if anyone knows me, that's unheard of. Do you know what I mean? I'm in Battersea Park with a trainer that I want to beat up every morning. Yeah. I'm doing it because there's a change in my body. Kind of like, like all addicts, as soon as I get that feeling of, I like this, there's no stopping. Do you get what I'm saying to you? And since like my weight loss, I just want to keep going. Like,
yeah, well, do. But what you should do is, to maintain that buzz and everything, you should cycle that with something paleo. So you cycle your ketones, like maybe put a week in and put a paleo diet in. I highly recommend any addict should stay away from grains. They're highly inflammatory. They push up your dopamine, which dopamine is that feeling of like, sort of like drive, ambition. Ooh, come on, let's punch someone. Something artificial like a grain-based diet, or even like the vegan food that's highly processed. You've got to see a green tick on it. You think it's healthy. No, it's not. It's going to push up your dopamine. So will sugar. And then that'll rob from the happy hormone serotonin. And that's what we all want. We all want to feel just fucking happy. I think it's paramount that you know what diet you should be on. And that, again, it depends on your genetic pathways. It depends on your ancestors. What did they eat to survive? So if you're from Northern Europe, you're more likely to have very, very oily fish in your diet. That oily fish will stop you from getting SAD because you're in Scandinavia. Your ancestors dealt with like dark nights, you know? But if your genetics are from middle of Africa, you've got a totally different diet, completely different diet. And it's paramount that everybody knows where they're from, what they evolved from, and how their ancestors kicked ass to be around in the 21st century, you know?
How do people find that out, though?
Okay, there's a really good company called Omnus that I'm going to interview actually next week. Yeah. Let me show you this. I'm not affiliated with them anyway. I've just got to do this gene test. I'm actually giving my ex-husband one for his birthday because I swear he's from another frigging planet.
Yeah, cool.
So it's like a test. And what you do is you do a swab, and basically they will pump out exactly where you're from, what vitamins you're missing, just because, and you can't change this. This is like once in a lifetime, and you just know it then. You just know your pathway.
You can get that online?
Yeah, you get it online. They've got a really nice platform. So it's Omnus.
Yeah.
I think it's called omnusme.com. But I mean, I've just done another test with them. I cut out some of my hair, and they'll do a mineral test. They're going to see what pollutants are stressing my liver. Yeah. That's about 90 quid. And I remember doing it once before, and I was running around Regent's Park like a lunatic, and bloody petrol came up in my hair because I'm breathing in that bloody Marylebone pollution. Yeah, you know what I mean? And that is stressing my liver, which will stop me making serotonin, which will put me in a bad mood and trigger me. So I went into the indoor gym.
I had the blood test on my arm, like to find what I was allergic to, and it came back as like deadly nightshades, which was like, you know, aubergine.
Yeah, yeah.
And all of the things that I'm actually eating a lot of right now because of my keto diet. You know, it was really weird because as a kid and growing up, I always sweated here when I ate cheese. And I always thought, did anyone else do that? And it was like, you know, and my head would sweat. And it's obviously because I was allergic to dairy. But you know, it's mad, isn't it? But now that doesn't happen. I think because you know your body changes every 7 years.
Yeah.
My metabolism today is so totally different, thank God, because I'm eating so much cheese during this diet. And it's not even a diet, it's actually a change of life for me. I'm not doing it like, okay, I'm going to cheat. I'm actually changing the way I eat and the way I live.
Because it's better for your brain. And if you think, I mean, for me, food literally can change my mood. So if I've been going up to Lancashire where my husband is, and I've been buying Eccles cakes and frigging Balm cakes because I'm on some sort of holiday to Lancashire. Yeah. And I'm like sat there in a carb coma in a foul mood with the kids. I'm thinking, what am I doing? I'm great in London because I'm like, I'm on it. I'm doing berries. I'm doing ketones. I'm not having any inflammatory oils. That's another one. You've got to keep away from sunflower plant oils. They are a nightmare. They're just as bad as sugar. But I mean, and then I go up north, and my addictive brain is associated with getting on that train with Balm cake.
I remember I started the diet, right, and I went away to Ibiza, and they had a plant-based restaurant in the hotel, and I was like, well, you can't go wrong, can you? So I was having watermelon sashimi, thinking that one, it's watermelon, it's great.
Sugar.
Yeah, the worst kind, because it was fermented. They'd like marinated it in soyas and stuff like that. It was just so sweet. But I was having it and it was coming with quinoa, and I was like thinking, well, quinoa's not a carb. Oh my God. I bloated 3 times the size I was within a week because I was having it every day. True addict. Oh my God, this is delicious. It's really helping. By the time I come back, I was so big. Like literally, just from that.
Like a watermelon.
No, honestly, it was. And I was like, but it's watermelon. How can that be like so high in sugar?
And like the whole vegan movement from like that movie, what was it called? What was it called? That Game Changers. I mean, it was based on people who were running an average of 200 miles a week. Now, of course, they can have that amount of carbohydrates. I don't drive 200 miles a week, and I run a lot. You know, I've just done Hyde Park. It's like, you know, I've just done like a 7K in Hyde Park. This is like, of course they look great. They're doing 200 miles a week. You're kidding me. Meanwhile, you've got poor Sandra going to Greg's eating a bloody vegan pasty or sausage roll, wondering why the hell she's getting fatter and fatter and more lethargic and more depressed. It's because of what she's putting in her mouth. And as soon as the NHS realises this addictive phenomenon has got its roots in food and hormones, and we need, you know, the better, because we've got a pandemic on another level. People are dying of addiction, obesity, and it's just not on because they just let the food and drink industry push it on us all the time. Subliminal marketing, it's constant, you know.
Sugar is probably one of the worst things for me out of all of them, worse than cocaine. Up until like 2 months ago, I allowed it to completely control what I did. I would drink Coca-Cola in the daytime. Come at 6 o'clock, I would crash. I would be vile to everyone, and then I'd fall asleep on the sofa. Could never watch a movie, never watch it. I used to put it down to my ADHD. Oh, I've sat down, boom. It wasn't. It's basically
sugar.
It was all sugar. It's everything to do with sugar. And since I've cut out sugar completely to the limit that, you know, my partner David cooks all the food in the house. We have nothing with sugar in it. I've never felt better. In all those You know,
I know it's really bad. And you know, when I was in rehab in South Africa, they used to, because we used to be allowed out on day trips.
Yeah, of course.
And they give us a handful of sweets to have in our pockets in case we were triggered, you know. So I think Avatar was on, and we were allowed out to the cinemas. like a little like special school, you know. We all went out, and yeah, we all got given a load of like sweets and an allowance for popcorn. And they just said, if you get triggered, you got to feel, because of course alcohol is just full of sugar anyway. So no wonder it depletes you of your mood at the end with the hangover.
You think, Davinia, that your addiction has shifted to, you know, to feeling good, like in the sense of the whole running 7K, the whole food diaries, the way you live. Do you think that you do it in such an obsessive way that it shifted?
No, I'm not. I don't think so. I think initially it was so I could understand it. I had to get my head into something. But now it's kind of a way of life. And I don't think anything of running 7K. I'll stop and I'll take a picture. I'm not trying to get the best time ever. Like I was near the Serpentine. I was watching these nutters swim there. And it's just, I enjoy it. You know, I do things I enjoy. And I know the trajectory of my day will be on an upward trajectory. If I stay at home, like when I came back from Spain, I was on a lockdown because of quarantine. I couldn't exercise at all. I was foul, and there was no getting around it. Poor Matthew was just like, please go for a run. I don't care if we get a 10 grand fine. You are a horrific human being. And I'm like, you know, so I just know it's better for everyone.
But you also, but the thing about it is the recovery side of it is the fact that you understand it now.
Yes. Yes.
And we're forever learning more about ourselves as we go on. Because, you know, I'm 13 and a half years, and who would have thought it's taken me till 13 and a quarter years to actually realise that sugar was what was my biggest demon. I always knew it. It was my secret one. Do you get what I mean? And
yeah, for sure.
I go to meetings sometimes, or I'm in self-help groups, or I talk to people, and they're talking, and suddenly I'll bring up sugar, and they all look at you like, well, we're all on heroin, and you're talking about sugar. Exactly the same.
Doesn't matter. If it destroys your life, it destroys your life. The end product's still the same. Whether it's, I mean, people get obsessed over the most seemingly mundane things. I mean, it could be that 2 glasses of wine is destroying your life, or it could be the 2 kilos of heroin is destroying your life. Either way, your life's getting destroyed, and nothing should be belittled. You've
got 4 kids now, which are amazing. Yeah. The kids are beautiful. Do you drive them mad?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I try to, but 2 of them go away, you see, so they come back all with a sugar hangover. And I know their DNA, and I know what they should be having supplement-wise. But trying to educate the other dad on it is a nightmare. But I'll slowly get there. That's my project. But I keep them totally aware of why they're not having a treat. I say, because it's not a treat. Cristiano Ronaldo would not have that because they all want to be Cristiano Ronaldo. Fact. He would not have that. He would not treat himself, you know, and he would not have those six-pack if he wanted to eat a donut. That's a fact. And I say to them as well, it's not good for you. So I'd rather buy them a bath bomb from Lush for £5. And they love that. And it lasts longer than a load of Haribos. I hate paying companies that are giving my kids a gut microbiome that's going to make them depressed. Yeah. These Haribos are so inflammatory, so addictive, and just give the kids Candida, which gives them, Candida, when it overtakes your body, it literally wants you dead so it can eat you. That's why it makes you crave sugar. It's a yeast overgrowth. It's a parasite. And our kids are all getting full of it. They're bloated. They're depressed. They just don't have any way out. And it's the government needs to step in and just say, right, okay, enough of the sweets for kids. Because it's not a bloody treat. It's giving them a pathway down the route of addiction, or down the route of depression at least. I
mean, I had Candida. When I went to see Rosemary Ferguson, and she was like,
yeah,
you've got Candida. And I was like, you sure? It sounded like such an STI sort of thing.
No.
What the fuck is that? And it was, you know, and once I got that and I started to deal with it, the bloating started to go. And
yeah.
I was just like, so many, I'd get really fit for a while. And then, you know, I remember I'd given up sugar once for like 6 months it was. And I was filming something with Davina, some TV program that I was on with Davina McCall. And I found a Cadbury's cream egg in my rucksack. And I was like, oh. And I was tired, and I was, you know, so I just thought I'd have it.
Cold, yeah. Boom.
Straight away.
Off.
I, as a kite, literally, I've been using Coke or something, just from that amount of sugar in a Cadbury's cream egg.
That's exactly what I do. I do the same with food as I do with alcohol. I say, is this going to trigger me? And I know when it is. And I've done that experiment on 2 weekends now. I am not this weekend having a chip balm cake, and I am not having an Eccles cake, whatever that is anyway. It's just like a really solid scone with raisins in. Apparently, it's a Lancashire treat. So, and I know it's ruining my weekend with my kids.
They're delicious.
They're freaking not. I mean, it's just, as I'm tasting it, I'm thinking, I know what this is doing. And the thing is with the addict, everything eventually will lead back to our port of call, which for me is white wine. So I do not even underestimate the power of sugar and carbohydrates, because they will upset my gut. My gut will upset my brain because of the gut-brain axis. And before you know it, I'll be face down in a bottle of brandy. All because I had an Eccles cake.
As simple as that. So what's in the future for you? What are you doing now? What's the next step for Davinia?
Well, I mean, I'm obviously mother of 4. I don't have nannies and stuff like that. So I'm just focusing on them, really. My number 4, he's just gone to school. So I'd love to write a book or something, you know, just to put everything I've learned into one place, just like an easy to use. Like, if you feel like this, take this. If you feel like that, do this. Like getting a cold bath. Because that is like one of the key things that got me out of depression, having an ice bath. I mean, it's free. I was reading all about Wim Hof. He's an amazing Dutch guy. He's a bit out there because, he's Dutch anyway. You know what they're like. But he has the most incredible story. His wife killed herself. She suffered from depression. She committed suicide, leaving 4 children. So he understood the power of depression. And he was like, how do we stop this? And it turns out by going into cold exposure, you can balance your hormones. This is without fucking around with like antidepressants and stuff, because remember, depression comes from a lack of serotonin, which is a hormone. So having cold exposure, your body goes into a state of panic, sends out all these hormones, and then as you relax, you hit equilibrium. So that's why your day is better. And the great thing about a cold shower is you can have it in the morning to liven up, or you can have it at night to calm you down. It's an adaptogen, and it's free.
Exactly, and that's simple, right? It's that simple. But you know
what? It's that simple.
People don't understand and know this stuff, and that, you know, until they try it, they think, "Oh, that ain't gonna work. What's that gonna do?" And it's the simple things that we try. You know, it's like little steps that will change everything, and that's recovery. That's recovery. Yeah. And you know, I think that you're such an asset to everything that you do. You really are, and you put so much time and effort into it. It's quite annoying sometimes.
I know what you mean. I think wanker. What wanker? I think that about myself.
You know what, Davina? I just think that, wow. Just to know the person before and the person you are.
Yeah.
And
likewise, mate. Seriously, likewise.
What you believe in, and the way that you control what you believe in the sense of, for the better of everybody else is amazing. Especially
Thank you.
a mother of 4 kids. And,
And 2 dogs.
Well, yeah, there you go. Mother of 6.
I love them. I didn't know that. I mean, I used to be like that with dog owners. I am obsessed. Oh my God. And they're not even that good looking, these 2. I just love them because they're funny looking.
Love. Unconditional love. It's the best thing.
Completely.
Really
love them.
I love you, and thank you
so much
for doing this.
Let's go out for dinner when we can have more than 6 people.
Oh, 100%. Let's go somewhere where we're not going to get sugar, though. As the DJ in me, I want to know one track that you go to, your go-to track that takes you such a really happy high place.
Alison Limerick, Where Love Lives.
Oh, look, my hair's just stood on end.
Me too, I am. Where Love Lives. She played at my 30th. Oh my God. I wish I could remember it. I was off my tiny little head. But anyway, she came to my 30th, and I also ran the marathon listening to her. I think she was my penultimate song. Love Alison Limerick. She's a ledge.
That piano at the beginning.
Oh. Oh my God, goosebumps. Play it later. Play it later, think of me.
On that note, Where Love Lives, I love you. I'll see you later.
You too. Bye, Angel.